Hey pals, how are you today? I am coming to you from my house. I just jumped out of the shower, so my hair is wet because I gotta go to work today. But I wanted to pop in and spend a little bit of time with you before I do that. So, welcome back to my channel. I am Paige Miller. I am your host here at Frame and Fiber. Although, like I said, I'm at home. Frame and Fiber is my picture framing and yarn shop in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. So if you ever find yourself in that area down the Jersey Shore, come visit. I'd love to meet you. So, let's see. There's a lot to talk about. But first, let me turn my phone down. Turn the volume down. First off, I'd like to thank everyone who participated in or is participating in my Etsy sale. You guys have helped me clear so much space on my shelves, so thank you so much. I did it. Also going on here at Frame and Fiber is the Warm and Breezy make along. It is a make along for any of us makers using yarn that is made out of, actually strike that, it's not necessarily yarn. It's using cotton or linen. So if you're spinning with cotton or linen, if you're sewing with cotton or linen, or you're making anything with cotton and linen, you are more than welcome to join this make along. So it's called the Warm and Breezy make along. It is now through July 31st. I will be picking random winners of fun prizes throughout the make along. You can enter to win by using the hashtag Warm and Breezy MAL on Instagram, or posting a picture of what you're working on in the Ravelry group thread, which can be found at Friends of Frame and Fiber on Ravelry, and it is called the Warm and Breezy make along there too. So yeah, join us. If you have any questions or comments, more so than just a sweet little comment below, and you need to get in touch with me, Ravelry is a good place to do that. So follow me over there. All right, so I think that's everything to do with information that you need from me, I think. So let's move on to some more making. I am going to be participating in the Tour de Fleece this year. It's July 6th through the 28th. I am a rookie, so I signed up for the rookie team, but then I saw that Grace of Babel's Traveling Yarns or Traveling Yarns podcast, and Jade of So Perfect Pearls, they are co-hosting co-captaining a team for the Tour de Fleece as well. So I just signed up for their team. Theirs is called the Babel's Pearls team. You can find information on their team over on Jade's Ravelry group page for So Pearl podcast. So Pearl, I was perfect. So Perfect Pearls podcast. You can find more information about joining their team over there. So Tour de Fleece is a fun, quirky make-along, essentially, spin-along during the Tour de France. So it's from this year, 2019, July 6th through July 28th. It's 21 days of spinning. They spin the bicycle wheels and we spin our spinning wheels, or drop spindles. I'm doing a drop spindle. So let me show you what I'm going to be working on. A while back, I think it was almost a year ago, I had hosted a trunk show for Emily Swenson, who is the dyer and owner of Wolfiend Yarns. She also is a spinner and she dyes fiber. So this is her fiber. It's colorway Spanky. It is 3.9 ounces and it's 100% organic Polworth. So that's going to be what I am spinning. This is the braid that I'm hoping to get through for the entire 21 days. For me, that's a lot of spinning. The yarn that's hanging up on my wall back there, I spun last year and I still haven't done anything with it. I should really do something with that too. But that took me a while. So I'm hoping to have this spun and plied during the Tour de Fleece. Will that happen? I don't know. I will have a lot of time. I was like, hit you with my spindle. Because I will be with my nephews. We are going to Lake George for a week. So I will have some downtime. So I'll be bringing my spindle and fiber. But this is a Bosworth spindle that I bought at Maryland's Sheep and Wool. And I haven't used it yet because do I have it in here? I've been spinning, or I shouldn't say have been spinning. I had started spinning on my old, I have an Ashford starter spindle for lack, it's a heavy spindle. I started on that and that's what I spun that yarn on back there. I think that was 2 years ago. So maybe, yeah, 2 years ago I did that. So I still have fiber attached to that spindle, which is why I haven't done this, because I want to finish that before I started this, but I'm just not feeling that project. So I'm skipping ahead and I'm going to use my new Bosworth. This is very exciting. So Tour de France, nope, Tour de Fleece. If you are a spinner and you are interested in signing up for a team, there are teams over on the Tour de Fleece Ravelry page, and you can sign up. There's all kinds of different teams that you can sign up for. Or you can, like I said, go over and check out Jade's page, which is So Perfect Pearls, and find their Tour de Fleece team there and join us. If you're a beginner spinner, definitely join us, because this is for everyone, and it's people want us, you know, it's spinners who all want to be together, so, and encourage each other. So do it with us. All right, so that's fun. I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited about everything though, right? Next up, I want to show you the project that I just casted on. So I had finished my entry for the Warm and Breezy make-along right at the beginning of the make-along. I knew I was going to be hosting the make-along, so I had started the project already, so I'd have something to show. And I hadn't expected to cast something on for the project, or for the make-along, a second thing, just because I thought, I should really be working on my Bodhi cardigan and other samples for the shop. But I stash dove. I dove into my stash. And a couple years ago at Maryland Sheep and Wool, I think this is Maryland Sheep and Wool or New Jersey Sheep and Wool. I can't remember where I bought this. This is, let's see if we can get that to focus. There we go. So this is the yarn that I'm using. It's Wool's Yarn Creation. 70% cotton, 15% silk, and 15% merino. It is a yarn that is not plied. It is strands. Let's see, how many strands are there? There's a strand of the merino. I think it's the merino and the silk is mixed together, and then it like literally looks like just cotton thread. But there are 1, 2, 4, 5 strands that are not, I'm not gonna be able to show this to you. There's no way you're gonna be able to see this. Let me show you the skein. So that right there is the skein of yarn. It's a gradient, clearly. It goes from the light to the dark. And I cast on a project by Annie Marie. I went on to Ravelry. I didn't have an idea. I didn't have anything in my queue that I thought this yarn would work for. So I wanted to make a shawl for sure. So I just went into Ravelry, and the filters, I just plugged in how much of this yarn I had. I wanted to do it on a big needle. I'm using what am I using? A size 10, 6.0 millimeter needle. So it's a pretty big needle for a really fine yarn. And I found a pattern by, I think it's Anne Marie or Annie Marie. I can't remember. I'm sorry, Annie Claire. Her name's Annie Claire, that's it. And you can find this on Ravelry. The pattern is called Brookfield. And it's a really pretty and fun well, you can see it right there. It's like a series of yarn overs and slip stitches that give you that really pretty lattice work. You can memorize this pattern instantly. So I definitely think I wouldn't say it's mindless, but it's memorizable. It's easy on the brain. Although I did have to tink back. So usually when I make a mistake, I rip out. But with this pattern, because of all the yarn overs and slip stitches, I was like, I'm gonna have to tink back. I haven't tinked back. I think I did 6 rows of tinking back. That took me a long time. And the reason why I had to tink back was because I was just moving along with the knitting that I wasn't paying attention, and I went way too far with the lattice pattern. So I just started my transition pattern. There's like a transition row, and then you go into a section of just garter stitch. So I think it's gonna be a really pretty summertime knit. And so now I have a second entry into the make along. Of course I can't win any prizes, but whatever. It's fun to be doing it with you guys. Isn't it pretty? Yeah, so Brookfield. Like I said, I tinked back 6 rows. It wasn't awful, but it did take a while. And it is a really gradual color change. I don't know if you can see. I think you can't really see the color change. It's more of like a tone. Like this is more peachy down there, and this gets a little bit more, I don't know. On the camera I can see it. I don't know if you guys can see it at home. So that is my work in progress. I still have my Bodhi cardigan going, but I haven't touched it in the last week, so no point in showing it to you. I think the last time I talked to you guys, I may have said that I was going to definitely warp my loom, but I did not definitely warp my loom at all. But I did pick out the yarn for it. So this is my future whip. This is a 100% mulberry silk yarn from Mirror Soul Yarns. It is called I don't remember what this is called. 100% mulberry silk. I know it's Mirror Soul Yarns. Oh well. Mana maybe? Maybe it's Mana. Anyway, this is going to be the warp. I wanted to do just a really plain, not plain, I mean it's lovely and silky and variegated, but I wanted to do a pretty neutral color. So I'm going to use this gray, and then I'm going to use just a bunch of scraps that I have laying around from different projects, and I'm just going to make I guess a wild scarf. Wild scarf. I had originally thought that I would do a pattern, but I just need to start weaving, so I'm just going to play around with the yarn. I forgot to show you, I had a finished object. What is wrong with me? I'm in my living room, the windows are open, I apologize. Okay, real quick, since I forgot and I just wanted to show you this before I head to work. I finished my Hatdana, and I should put it on because it's cute. Oh, I should put it on, even though it's gonna ruin my hair for the rest of the day. Okay, I'm putting it on like a hat because, I mean, it's a Hatdana, so you can wear it as a hat or a bandana. Right now, it's as a hat. So, look how cute it is. It fits me so perfect. I had it on yesterday. Can you see that? Can you see the back of my head with my tassel? I had it on yesterday, or yeah, yesterday. Oh, my hair's gonna be all frizzy now. I put it on yesterday with my hair up in piggies, and it's so stinking cute. My piggies coming out the back is beyond ridiculously cute. I am so stoked on my Hatdana. I can't believe I forgot to show you. So I think in the last episode I was telling you how I had to rip out because I didn't go down a needle size when I did the ribbing, and I did a stretchy bind off, and it was just way too loosey-goosey on my head. So I had to rip it out. So this is what I ended up with. Yeah, there we go. And I told you also I ripped it out because I ran out of this color, and so I had to finish with this color, which you can see I embellished. I went back and did some duplicate stitch to hide, again, that transition from the gray to the dark gray. I just didn't like that straight line, especially because it wasn't where the ribbing, I didn't like it. So I duplicate stitched to hide it, and I think it's stinking cute. Yeah. Yeah, I'm such a geek. I think that's it, right? Oh, and I did change, so I went down, I didn't go down one needle size, I went down 3 needle sizes, right? I went down a lot of needle sizes. And not only did I go down needle sizes, but I also decreased, which I think you can see, kind of, it slants in right there. I decreased by 4 stitches. So let me show you my, come on little camera, there you go. So you can see here is where I decreased right there. Maybe it's not 4 stitches, maybe it was, no, it was 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. And then I didn't do a stretchy bind, so I went down 3 needle sizes, decreased by 4 stitches, and then did a 2x2 rib instead of what the pattern called for, which is a 1x1 rib. So she didn't have you decreasing, and she had you doing a stretchy bind off. So I did that little bit of a change, and then when I bound off the piece, I went back up to the original size needle, which was, I forget. I'll put it below. When I'll look at my notes and I'll put it below so you can see what needles I used. But so yeah, that way, because I didn't like the stretchy bind off, but then when I bound off in the needle that I was doing the ribbing in, it was too tight. I didn't like the way it felt on my head, so I ripped off the binding and went up the needle sizes, and it's perfect now. It's not too tight. Okay, so do you guys know, do you have any advice on this? There's a stretchy bind off, there's a regular bind off. Stretchy bind offs are I just don't like them. They're ugly. I do them with my socks, and I live with it because I want my socks to fit my calf. So, okay, we do that. And then I also don't like the straight bind off because it gets too tight. So then you go up the needle size, and that seems to work. Is there any other compromise that you guys know of? I'd like to know. Okay, now I'm late for work and my battery's gonna die, so Hatdana, fabulous. Bye. So if you guys follow me on social media, on Instagram specifically, you will have seen a bunch of things that I have been up to. There is something that I just wanted to share with you. I was really excited to work on it. I did a project for Debbie Trainer. She is a knitter and crocheter and sewer. And she, a while back, I can't remember when it was published, but she had published a pattern booklet with Leisure Arts, and it was all cute little dresses that she made for washcloths. They were washcloths in the shape of dresses that hang on your dish soap. Very cute. But I had framed for her the booklet and then one of the little samples of the dishcloth that she had made. Let me put it right there. To move out of the way because I know I'm going to put it there. So that is that's the framing I did for her. I did a shadow, it's not a shadow box, it's more of like what we call a float mount. It's when you attach an object or a piece of art to the front of the matting where the matting's not touching it. Let me move over again and show it to you. Like you can see the booklet, everything is floating on top of the back mat, and then the mat that I cut for them, or for the piece, is around the frame and against the glass set away from the background. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, we call that floating because it looks like the objects are floating. And it was just a really cool piece to do for Debbie. Well, for a couple reasons. One, because it was fun to do. I always like doing projects that are a bit of a challenge, even though it wasn't it wasn't challenging in that it was hard to do, but you know, when you bring a diploma in, it's going to be framed 99% of the time the way I framed the last diploma and the one before that and the one before that. It's traditional to frame them, well, kind of like my little drawing right there that my grandpa did when he was a little boy. You put the mat around the picture and you put it in the frame. When people bring in objects to be framed, or textiles specifically, there's a bunch of different techniques that can be involved, and so it's always fun to have to figure out and solve the puzzle. So that's one reason why I love doing pieces like that. But then the other part of framing things like that is the sentimental story that goes along with the pieces that my customers bring in. It's really cool. It's really fun to take something that someone loves so much and put it into the frame in such a way that they can display it and share it continually. I mean, for instance, Debbie's little book and little washcloth most likely were tucked away, you know, in a drawer or a project bag or a box someplace, and now it's going to be proudly displayed on her wall. So it's just fun to be a part of that. And I think I've always done picture framing, so I've always been a part of helping people express themselves, but now that it's part of people from our community are coming in, I get to see more of it than just the finished product leaving my shop, but I get to see more of it. You know, I get to see people posting pictures of their pieces, or I just get to see the process that they went through, because some people are posting pictures of things that then come to me for framing. So it's pretty cool. It's one of those extra perks and I mean, blessing. It's been a blessing to me I didn't expect it when I started knitting or selling yarn that my two worlds would collide like that. So it's pretty cool. Worlds collide. And then I don't know if you saw also, oh, I'll put it here, that picture. That's another frame piece that I did, and I did put a post of that up on Instagram too. I think that one was on my frame.and.fiber on Instagram. I think it was on the frame.and.fiber account. But that little piece right there, if you look at the silver, can I do this? No, I can't, it'll cover my hands. I wish I could like have the picture here and point to it. But do you see that small little silver frame that lines, or that is framing the little picture? So that was the original little frame. I've done this several times with pieces. So one with my great Grammys, which is not here, so I can't show it to you. My stepdad, it's at his house in North Carolina. If I can remember, I'll ask him to take a picture and send it to me. But sometimes there are things that were framed, I mean, literally decades ago, that the frame is just so cute and so perfect, and you know, reframing it needs updating, but you'll never be able to find a cute little frame like that. It's just too precious to throw away. That's one of them. And so what I love doing is keeping it in its little frame, cutting a mat and then putting a cool frame around that. It makes it super special. I absolutely love when I get to do things like that. So I just wanted to show you that one too. I was super proud of that one. I hope I'm putting the pictures in all the right spots, because I'm just pointing everywhere. Okay, so next, I'm gonna end it here, or at least the chatty part anyway. And from this point forward, you're going to see some footage that I've taken in the past couple weeks, because I did a piece for my friend Joan, and I took a video and a lot of pictures of the process of doing this piece. Joan Knits brought to me a very large, I think it's like 5 feet by like 2.5, 3 feet. I can't speak. It's a rug that was gifted to her husband by I think it was either by the maker of the rug or the family members of the maker of the rug. I cannot remember the exact story. Joan, if you watch this and want to correct me, please leave a comment below. But it's a really cool piece. Now this was a challenge as far as like it was challenging to frame because of the size, and it's a rug. So I have to sew it down. It needs to be mounted in a particular way so that we can preserve it and not, you know, no glue touching this thing or nothing permanent. So yeah, it was really cool. I'm excited about it. So no more talking about it. I will show you the video. So I hope you enjoy what I've been up to. Hey, pals. So I am starting a pretty big, fun, exciting framing job for our pal, Just Joan Knits. But I thought I would kind of chronicle the steps it takes to frame something like this. It's a textile, so I figured that would be interesting to all of you makers out there. This is the stretcher bar, and then this, you know what, let me turn this around. It'll make way more sense. So that's the stretcher bar, and this is a Mylar screen. I wonder if you can see it up close. Yeah, you can see it. This right here is going to be attached to this stretcher bar, and then I will sew the rug to the screen, and then from there mount the stretcher bars in the framing. This is how I do it. I want to make sure that this is nice and taut. And so the way you stretch, should have trimmed this a little bit more, trim it after. The way to stretch a canvas or anything into a stretcher bar is to start in the center of each side and then rotate around, center out. And that's that. So I'll get this done and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, pals. So I guess I didn't show you the parts that I should have showed you before I started sewing this. Where is it? Let me show you. Okay, so the mat is all set to go. And you'll see here a little hole there, a little hole here. And that is, it's in the back right there and right there. That is where the screws will go through the mat. There'll be washers on the back, screws through, and then the screws will, let's see if I can pick this up. The screws will attach to the board on the back. So see that? Well, you can't really see it, but right there, there's a hole. So it'll be nice and secure. And I am now attaching the rug to the stretcher bar. So you can see here, this is the Mylar screen that is wrapped around and stapled to the wood. And then I'm going to be sewing the rug down to the screen. So I made a couple executive decisions. This is a little bit heavy, and I feel like if I do too many stitches, it might sag if I do them in the wrong spot, or if I just, it might rip from the Mylar that I have. So what I'm thinking of using is this little tool that, let's see if I can get this. Yeah, here we go. These little guys right here, they're like really, really tiny. super small. It's hard to show them. Do I have any? Oh, you know what? Let me shoot it. Okay, where did it go? Here it is. So it's this little guy. Let me put it on top of the rug so you can see how tiny. So that's pretty much the size, or a little bit smaller than a piece of thread, but these are really strong. They're made for holding jerseys and like really heavy materials to boards when I do shadow boxes. So I think these guys, I'm going to be using these to attach this down instead of sewing with my really thin, where is it? This is really hard to see. Oh yeah, there you go. Can you see that? Let me see if I can put this over the, yeah, right there. So this is really, really thin stuff. So I think I'm going to skip over that and use these just because I want this to be safe. This thing is by no means is this fragile. This is a rug made out of really sturdy wool. So I'm not worried about the rug itself. I was more so worried about it not staying attached to the back. So yeah, there I am in the process of mounting it. You're so cute. Yes. I just videotaped you.
Okay, done? Oh, jeez.
Just Joan at her piano. Oh, it looks so good. Okay, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me this time. I hope you enjoyed all of that. I don't know which way to point. I'll see you next time. Thanks for hanging out with me, spending a bit of your time with me. And until next time I see you, happy making.